This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
Not everyone knows my techniques of how to make a lot of money.
Do you understand what dropshipping is?
Within 21 days, I had earned
astronomical payday.
Over the years, individuals have made insane sums of money very quickly, selling empty investments and the opportunity for yourself, to get rich. But for every winner, there is plenty of losers.
I lost so many friendships.
Tried to manipulate and guilt trip.
Today, we will explore the dark story of get-rich-quick schemes.
You bring your friends, I'll bring my friends. We can all be friends and make money on the weekend.
So most people do quit. Who cares? Doesn't matter.
This is your vehicle to everything you want out of life.
So throughout history, there's always been this allure in humans to find some kind of hack, some kind of shortcut to make lots of money very quickly. In the 1600s in the Netherlands, there was a thing called tulip mania, whereby tulips, the flower, had become worth the same amount as houses. And 1 year later, it popped and left most people in financial ruin. Boy, does that sound familiar.
This Ledger wallet, it was worth 4 Lamborghinis. Guess what? Today, I cannot even buy a Burger King or Whopper with a meal.
But you see, all of these various scams would really be nothing until the 1900s. The world was changing. Salesmen were now a thing, knocking on your door, trying to sell you some shit. And so, in 1903, a young, dapper Italian man arrived in America by the name of Charles Ponzi. In 1920, Charles came up with his own company, called the Security Exchange Company. Listen here, buddy. You can trust in good old Charlie. Just give me your money, I'll double it, no problems. All right, Charlie. The whole scheme worked as this. There was coupons that you could buy from abroad for a very cheap price that were worth a lot in America. And in the short term, Charlie was actually able to double his investors' money. In a few weeks, Charlie had become this celebrity. He was dressing well, he had a nice car, but there was a problem. A pesky newspaper was sniffing around Charlie's scheme and worked out that there wasn't actually enough of these coupons on Earth for this scheme to work. In fact, what he was doing was taking the new money from the new investors and paying off the early investors.
Well, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul then, aren't you?
Well, if you say so, yeah.
Not if I say so, that's a fact.
However, despite dying penniless and forgotten, his legacy would remain, as this coined the phrase, the Ponzi scheme. Before we go any further, I want to give a massive shout out to your boys at Squarespace for sponsoring. Squarespace is the #1 platform for building and developing your own beautiful looking website. Designing a website can be pretty tricky. You've got to twiddle buttons and click stuff and no code. But Squarespace makes it super simple. With their easy to use platform, anyone can make an amazing website. Whatever it is you do, whether you're a graphic designer, fitness coach, with tons of templates to choose from, you can pick and customize any of them to fit exactly what it is you do. As well, there are tons of built-in tools like email marketing, e-commerce, appointment scheduling that will elevate what it is you do and bring it to that next level. I've personally been using Squarespace lately for my brand Viral Beast, where we make thumbnails for different YouTubers. And I must say, I really am proud with the results, and I have to thank Squarespace for that. So be sure to check out squarespace.com/JimmyTheGiant. And to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain, use the code JimmyTheGiant. Anyway, back to the video. Look, surely this was a one-off, and surely people couldn't fall for this again. Well, it wasn't. And they would. This was happening at the same time as the rise of direct selling in the early 1900s. As I say, these are salesmen knocking on your door. Hey, ma'am, you want some medicine for your fucked up feet? I gotcha. Just drink this, you'll be fine. And so, post-Ponzi, after the 1920s, the foundations were set for some slimy bros to make some quick cash. In steps, send a dime letters. One day you'd be at home and you would receive a letter. And the letter would ask you a very simple thing. It would say, send a dime to one of the people at the top of the list. And then add your own name to the list. Most importantly, you need to forward this letter to all of your friends and family. But you see, very quickly, the US Post Office caught wind of what was going on, and they clamped down heavily on these letters, declaring them an illegal form of lottery. And this would further mutate into the concept of pyramid schemes.
It's not a pyramid scheme. It's not even a scheme per se.
I have to go make a call.
So around the same time in the 40s and 50s, people realized, look, you can't just make money from nothing. Money doesn't just fall off trees. This is the real world, buddy, and you need to work hard. And there was a company that knew that. and their name was Nutrilite.
More and more often these days, an interesting story is being presented to men and women in homes and offices all over America through a booklet. Facts about vitamins, minerals, and Nutrilite food supplement.
Invented by Carl F. Renberg, Carl noticed something when it came to his sales reps. And that was that a lot of the new recruit sales reps tended to be friends and family members of existing sales reps. And so one day, Carl had an idea. How about we reward the salespeople with a small percentage every time they recruit a new person? Nutrilite became a very dominant name in the industry. And by all accounts, Carl was just a chill bruh trying to sell some pills to the people. But unbeknownst to him, he had created a monster.
As you do so, you'll move up the pyramid, from qualifying executive sales director to executive sales director to area manager and to state manager. It all looks like a pyramid to you. 11 other states have agreed that it is a pyramid.
All right, so before we get too deep into where it all went, let's do some maths. So let's take Bob. Bob starts Bobby's Biscuits. The biscuits taste like shit, no one's buying it, but he discovers pyramid selling. Bobby hires 10 sales reps. All of them have to pay him a fee. So let's call this first 10 of the sales force Tier 1. To incentivize them, Bobby says, Tier 1, you can employ 10 more people each and receive some money for when they sign up. Now we're on Tier 2 of our sales force, which is 100 people. All of them sign up another 10 people. You now have Tier 3, which is 1,000 people. The problem that occurs is as time goes on, by Tier 10, you need 10 billion people to sign up to the company. What percentage of Earth's population do you think would fall for a pyramid scheme? Let's be generous and say 1%. If America has 331.9 million people, 1% of that is about 3.3 million gullible Andes that might potentially sign up. In this situation, by Tier 7, we need 10 million people, which we don't have. And all this is great for the very early joiners because they've had a few tiers and some of the money's flowing up the pyramid. But the problem is for the late joiners, aka the shit boys. It becomes harder and harder to find new recruits, and we have hit a point which we can call oversaturation. Well done, class, you can now put down your books. And so, of course, no one would ever do this because it's deeply immoral and fucks over a majority of the people who try and sign up, right? Wrong. In steps Amway.
Amway, you can do it too.
Amway, short for American Way, set up by J. Van Andel and Richard DeVos. This terrible two started out at Nutrilite back in 1949. They did it for about 2 weeks and quit because they weren't really making money. But then, everything would change when they would attend a seminar.
But ain't it great to be in the Coliseum today with people like you that are miracles, that are observing the masses and doing the opposite and not home cutting the grass or watching the grass die? You're here today.
You see, the main eureka moment wasn't that these two discovered how great the Nutrilite product was. They discovered how great the Nutrilite dream was.
I want you to feel it. I want you to taste it. I want you to say it. Freedom.
The dream of becoming your own boss, a millionaire with girls, cars. What they realized with Amway was that they could wholesale this culture, and their company grew very quickly. They invested very heavily in these events. There was music, there was colorful lights, pretty women, and they would leave this deep emotional impact on their worshippers. I mean, their independent business owners. Each independent business owner was required to buy lots of materials.
Anything you need to become successful, you have at your disposal. All you have to be willing to do for a nominal fee is to start purchasing the materials that will help you to build your business.
Where it would teach stuff like mindset and business skills. They would pay for these expensive tickets to these really luxurious seminars. And so you'd be in this position having spent a ton of money, you haven't even made your first sale, but oh boy do I know the power of positive thinking. The event started to blur the lines between business and spiritual advice.
Because when you get the junkyard dog mentality and you're not only in Amway, but you allow Amway to get inside of you because it's built on the depth of your conviction and not the height of your logic.
And by the end of all this, you have spent thousands to be one of the Amway boys. And you might be looking at your bank and thinking, probably I should start making a bit of money by now. And maybe this scheme isn't all it's cracked up to be. But the problem is a thing called the sunk cost fallacy. There's a feeling when you've put loads of money into something that you might as well just keep putting a little bit more because maybe you'll come up lucky soon, instead of just cutting your losses.
A lot of people sign up in Amway, but unfortunately, not too many people are successful in business. And if you can understand, what makes Amway special, if you can understand the value of the business, the concept, you will never give up the business easily.
And so, by the mid to late 70s, Amway was a roaring success and an international company. Things were going well. Maybe just a little too well. In 1975, there would be a landmark legal case where Costco Interplanetary Incorporated were ruled to be an illegal pyramid scheme.
About 75 people, promoters of the scheme and potential victims, at another location on 27th Street, 2 other people were arrested at a similar pyramid meeting.
In this time, there was lots in the news and in pop culture about pyramid schemes. And so, in 1975, the FTC would launch an investigation into Amway.
In May of 1979, after nearly 5 years of investigations, the FTC closed the matter and released its opinion.
And by the conclusion of the investigation, 5 years later, with non-stop headlines about Amway's investigation, as a illegal this and illegal that, our sales reached $1 billion for the first time in our history, the same year that the FTC basically said that we were indeed not only legitimate, but a very remarkable business opportunity.
Because this loophole had created the framework for what would be known as multi-level marketing. Look, mate, it's not a pyramid scheme. It's called multi-level marketing, right? And how's it any different? Well, basically, it's sort of like a pyramid scheme in that we do the recruiting thing, but we also sell products, real products. So after this, loads of companies adopted the same exact structure, all of which offered the same kind of get-rich-quick scheme. It's been a game of cat and mouse between the authorities and these various MLMs and also Ponzi schemes.
The largest Ponzi scheme in history. That's how it was described by prosecutors.
Scheme worth more than $800 million.
You see, this legal grey area that the FTC had created all those years back with Amway meant that pyramid schemes could often hide behind this sort of MLM structure. And when it comes to Ponzi schemes, they've just got cleverer and cleverer and far more hard for the authorities to detect. But with all of this money made, it's important to remember the losers.
Are you ready to hear how I lost $30,000 in a 6-figure job? Here you go.
But I still managed to lose 7,000 pounds.
And that was the end of my friendship with my best friend of the past 4 years, and it was my introduction to the world of multi-level marketing.
The Reddit anti-MLM has 800,000 plus subscribers. There's a website called Anti-MLM Coalition. There was even a BBC documentary called Ellie Undercover, Secrets of the Multi-Level Millionaires. There's plenty of documentaries. There's one called Betting on Zero. And then there was a Polish documentary called Welcome to Life that exposed what Amway was like, which Amway actually managed to have banned. So they basically suppressed it completely. And it's weird, even the businesses that present themselves as very legitimate MLMs have genuine customers that buy the products. It's interesting just how many of them have faced lots of legal issues. Notoriously Vema Nutrition.
FTC temporarily shut Vema down under allegations of operating a pyramid scheme.
Who were fined $238 million. Herbalife in 2018 agreed to pay $200 million in settlements. Advocare in 2019, Neora settled for $4 million. Nu Skin had a class action lawsuit. It makes you wonder, if MLMs are so legit and these are proper businesses, why have nearly all of them been forced to pay massive settlements?
A Bulgarian woman has been placed on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list for allegedly running a cryptocurrency scam.
On the collapse of the crypto exchange, saying
thousands of investors lost billions of dollars.
All of these get-rich-quick schemes exploit the same human weaknesses. There's this allure of making easy money. Good energy will just flow money to you. You don't have to learn a skill or become good at something. Just buy the platinum package, for God's sake. Studies have consistently shown that over 90% of people who join even MLMs earn very small amounts of money. And in the real world, this has had real serious consequences. It's led to people taking their own lives. It's led to insane debts.
Albania,
Thousands of citizens have invested their life savings in a pyramid scheme. When the scheme collapses, they're all bankrupt.
There was literally a war/revolution in 1997 in Albania, primarily because of pyramid schemes.
Can only watch as townsfolk destroy their own community.
I don't know about you, but I would rather make money knowing I've created something that people actually want. There's no secret system. You can't hack the game. Be skeptical. And remember, if something sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to join us on the Afters podcast, where we'll talk about this topic and many others.